So, hi Morgan. Morgan, I forgot that was your older sister. Hi Mason, how are you?
Good.
Good? How have you been doing lately in class?
Not very well.
Not very well? Okay. Well, I know this is our first session, so I'm just going to kind of give you a little rundown about who I am and kind of why you're here. Does that sound good? Okay. So my name is Jocelyn. I'm your school counselor, and one of your teachers had they've noticed a little bit of a different personality and kind of some behavior lately with you. And I think they've just noticed that maybe you've exhibited a little bit more anger or frustration. And I don't know if it's really focused over your assignments or friends or any of that stuff. So what we're going to do is we will talk about it today, and whatever you're comfortable talking about, just feel free. And I'll ask you some questions, and hopefully, you can, if you find that it's comfortable enough, that you can open up to me a little bit about it. But before we get started, I do want to let you know that anything you tell me is confidential. So I won't be sharing this with your classmates or anything like that. So the only time that I might have to share something that we've talked about is if I feel that maybe you might harm yourself or someone else kind of is in danger. Does that make sense? Okay. So then obviously I would have to take different steps. But as long as that doesn't happen, it stays between you and I in our sessions. If they continue on after today, you can feel comfortable that you can trust me and everything just stays between us. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let me just kind of start off with, like you said, you've kind of been struggling a little bit in some classes. And do you want to just kind of tell me a little bit about, what you feel that your struggle has been?
When my teacher calls on me for a question and I don't get it right, other people shoot up their hand because I didn't get it right, and then they want to answer it. And then I feel bad because I didn't get it right, and then my teacher doesn't help me with what I did wrong.
Yeah. And does it make you frustrated?
Yeah.
It does. Okay. So, if I heard you right, there are times when your teacher asks you guys questions in class, and, I think it's great that you raise your hand and you're trying to offer, the answer. So, it sounds like then if, your answer isn't what the teacher's looking for, then it sounds like that she'll kind of move on to the next student. And does that kind of make you feel like maybe not so great inside?
Yeah, because when I don't answer right, their hands shoot up like that, and then right after I get it wrong, and then when we do a risk it or ticket, I go up there, and then when my stick gets picked, they all scream no because they wanted it to be them. And then when I get it wrong, they're shoot up their hands and then get up and start jumping up and down because I really want it to be them.
Okay, explain the ticket thing. What is that? What is that process that your teacher uses?
Well, we have a ticket system, and so if we're doing good in class, and we're doing our stuff independently, and we're not begging her, then we get a ticket and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so, just stuff like that. And so, risk her tickets. If you get it wrong, you have to owe her a ticket. But if you get it right, then she owes you a ticket. So most of the time, I end up with no tickets because I usually get it wrong. Because I get really frustrated.
Yeah.
So I try to do better, but she just doesn't pay attention to me because I'm usually getting frustrated.
So tell me about the ticket system. So if let's say you got the question right. Okay, the teacher asked you and you earned a ticket. So what is is there a reward for the ticket? Is there something that maybe you get to draw out of, a candy jar, or Is there anything like that? Like, kind of tell me like what you would use the ticket for.
Yeah, like every 2 weeks or so, we'll have like an auction where like she like gets stuff from the store like that she thinks that we would like, and then like she would say like 5, or if you have like 5 tickets, 10 tickets, and so the highest bidder gets the prize.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like then the more answers you receive, or the more work that you do independently successfully, and the teacher is happy about it, then you earn tickets. And then earning those tickets, the more tickets you have, it sounds like, then the better chance you have earning a prize in the class. Okay. So then is it fair to say that maybe lately you haven't had the opportunity to earn those tickets, so you haven't had a chance to get a reward or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's, has that been different than maybe some of your other classmates? Like, does it seem like they're getting the tickets and they're getting the rewards?
Yeah, because like the people at my table, they like scored like 100 tickets, and I only have like 20 or 10.
Oh, okay.
And they like brag at recess and stuff, and so it kind of makes me feel like a little bit frustrated because they get like to feel good about themselves, and then have the lower amount of tickets, and not many people have that low of tickets.
So it doesn't feel good. Yeah, it doesn't feel good with the low tickets. Okay. And I'm just writing some notes down just so it kind of reminds me of the process and what your teacher system is, and it's just going to help me for when we meet on later on. I'll remember kind of, what we talk about. So nothing bad is written down. It's just for me to remember, because sometimes I don't have a great memory, so it's easy for me to take notes. So I just want you to know that. Okay, so let's just say, the problem isn't Mason, okay? Your problem isn't Mason. The problem sounds like maybe is your frustration, or, maybe a little bit of anger and frustration mixed. Let's just say if we had to name, name your frustration or anger, and what would you call it? So let me just give an example. So sometimes I stress. Okay, I have a bad time sometimes managing stress. So sometimes I talk about my stress monster, or like the stress monkey that's on my back, something like that. So if you had to come up with a name for your frustration or your anger, what would you name it? What sounds good to you?
The anger monster.
The anger monster? Okay. I think that's a great name. And I know that all of us as kids aren't really fond of monsters, so an anger monster, I think, is a really good name. I think it's something that maybe we can focus on, maybe not so much on Mason, but maybe let's focus on, how can we tackle this anger monster so you feel better in the classroom, or, something like that. So tell me this. It sounds like the anger monster kind of affects you a little bit, and I mean in a negative way. So for example, let's say you didn't get to answer a problem, a question from your teacher, and it wasn't the correct answer. And so it sounds like then the anger monster kind of, takes on its own form, and then now the anger monster is kind of influencing Mason to make you feel frustrated and anger. Would that be accurate if I said that? Yeah? Okay. So your anger monster kind of makes you frustrated. Okay. how your anger monster has affected you, I think I want to ask you how it's affected you in a few different environments. And what I mean by that is, tell me, you've kind of told me a little bit how it affects you in the classroom. Okay, so sounds like you get frustrated with the teacher. Does that cause maybe some bad communication between your teacher? Do you feel that you can go up to your teacher at any time and talk to her about it?
No, because my teacher, she doesn't like to be bugged. So when we have questions, we're supposed to ask our neighbors, but my neighbors don't. They'll ask another person at the table. I want to get my work done, finished first. Because sometimes they get to be the grader. Because she likes to do her work and not be bugged. So she doesn't want you to go up to her and bother her. So they want to be first so they can be the grader.
And they can earn the most tickets. So it sounds like maybe your partners haven't been quite as helpful as you've needed. Okay. I completely understand that. It sounds like because they're really trying to win the tickets and the rewards from the teacher. So that makes complete sense. And they don't want to, help and then slow down their progress. And that happens in classrooms, unfortunately, sometimes with partners.
They say that they'll help you when they're done, but then when they're done, then we have to grade, and then you end up waiting for them, and then you don't get to get your work done because you didn't get any help.
So by the time they're finished with their work, it hasn't left you much time to receive the help and then finish your own work.
And then when we're done with our math, our teacher, she has a grade book, and then she calls out our name, and we're supposed to say our scores, and so we have to say it in front of everybody. And so when I have to say it and then I hear the other people's scores, it kind of makes me feel sad because I didn't get a bigger score, because people are all proud of their scores and I'm not, because I don't have a very big one, because nobody wanted to help me.
Does the teacher walk around and also offer to help during those times, or does she kind of make you, rather you guys depend on your partners?
She walks around and then looks at people's papers, and then if she looks at a couple of problems, and then she tries to explain it to you, but if you don't get it, she says try to have your partner explain it, because she tries to explain it real quick, so she can get to other people. But then she puts me at the back of the room, and then
so you sit in the back of the room.
She starts at the front, and then she doesn't have time for us because they have all these kinds of questions. So
does time run out by the time she gets to you, kind of in the back of the room?
Because she has a specific time limit for each thing. So she takes a specific time. And then we've kind of had to clean out our classrooms because they have to take something down in our classrooms. So when people are done, they're all trying to get done real quick because they want to help. If they're done, she calls their name and says read or help, and then it's kind of fun to help, so they want to help. And then she calls on everyone except for the people who aren't done.
Okay, and I imagine that might be something that you would like to help with if you were done with your work and you'd like to join the others in doing something like that. Okay. I think that makes complete sense. I would too. So it sounds like this, anger and frustration monster kind of has prevented you a little bit of kind of getting access to the rewards that you'd like to get in the classroom. Tell me how it's affected you outside the classroom. What about friendships?
At recess, when my friends want to play a game and I don't want to play that game, I don't want to argue with them, so I just get up and walk away because I don't necessarily want to argue with people because it's not fun.
So do you
get all mad?
So do your friends think that you're mad when you walk away?
Yeah, and then they go tell other people that I'm mad, and then people walk up to me and I don't like it.
Okay, and then it kind of brings all of that to focus, that everybody's wanting to ask you questions about it, and yeah, I could imagine that would get frustrated.
And then they go and talk about me, say she doesn't want to play with her friends because she doesn't want to play what they want to play, so she gets all mad and stuff.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like they're kind of talking to each other about if it's a game that you don't want to play, then, and I'm just speaking as, if it were one of the kids that they say, oh, well, Mason's mad because we didn't get to play the game that she wants, so she went and sat over there. And then you have other people coming and asking you questions, which probably makes you even more frustrated. Because at that point, do you feel like just being left alone, or do you feel that you wish that you were more included in the games?
Yeah, because when I walk away, other people think that it's because I want to draw attention to myself, but I don't. Mm-hmm. It's just that I just don't want to argue, so I just walk away.
So it sounds like in that instance, you're trying to prevent your anger monster from coming out, is what it sounds like. So by you walking away, I think what you're trying to do is not be angry and not show them that you're frustrated and angry, and hoping by walking away solves that. But it sounds like that by your friends coming up and asking you questions, that may not have been the best solution,
Because they keep on asking, and then you get frustrated, and then you just yell at them, and then they get mad and go tell the teacher.
And then it all starts again.
Yeah, and then our teacher, when they don't tell a teacher on duty, they have to tell our teacher, and then our teacher gets all mad because they say if there's a teacher on duty, then you have to tell them. And then she gets all mad and doesn't want to solve it, and then they start being mean to me, and they're all, don't play with Mason because she yells at you.
Oh. Well, that does sound like that. That would make me sad. If I were in your situation, I think that would make me really sad. Tell me, so we've talked about kind of the anger monster in class and kind of how it's, how it starts. We've talked about your anger monster out of class, still at school. What about at home? Tell me about home. Is there anything that kind of pulls your anger monster out?
Well, my parents get in some fights, and then I don't like arguing, so that's kind of why I walk away, because I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's why. And then when they get in fights, they yell at each other, and then I just want to go to my room, and so I don't like arguing, but they can still hear it.
Yeah, that's still. So by you even going to your room, you can still hear the arguing, and I imagine that makes you sad. Sad and probably frustrated and a little angry that that's happening, So, okay, I think that's helpful to know, because it sounds like this anger monster's kind of creeping up on you, It's creeping up at home, it's creeping up to you in the classroom, and even on recess or times with your friends. So, tell me this. Let's just say if I had a magic wand and I could totally zap your anger monster away. Tell me what a day would look like without the anger monster in your class. Tell me let's just say, starting at home, okay? Let's just say the anger monster's not coming out and Mason can fight the anger monster out because it's over. How would you feel? Do you think that there would be some differences in your feelings at home?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you think it would be that you would be maybe a little bit happier? Yeah?
And then I would be able to go to school and people would be able to like talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not get frustrated.
So maybe the happiness that when you're leaving for school in the morning, you're happy, right? And there's no more anger monster because it's all gone. And then you go to school, and even if you answer a wrong question, but it's not making you frustrated because let's say, your friends are kind of helping you out again, and then you kind of get some right, and now you're kind of earning your tickets, and you're kind of fitting in with the rest of your classmates. And then how would that be different during out of class time, like on recess or time with your friends or at lunch? If we had the magic wand and it was gone, how do you think that would feel there?
I would be able to understand the work that we were supposed to be doing, and then be able to help my teacher when I'm done with my work, so I could get it done faster. So I could recognize what I'm doing instead of guessing on the questions and thinking that you know the answer, but you probably don't.
Right. Well, Mason, what it sounds like is, I think we know that, the anger monster is not Mason. Okay, so Mason is a beautiful girl that wants to have a great time in school, wants to be happy at home, and wants to be able to play with her friends and to share games and earn tickets and get the rewards. So maybe, kind of with our next session, what we can do is kind of focus on how can we work to zap that anger monster? And how can we get you on a path to where you're starting to feel less frustrated and less angry, and we can start kind of working on that. What do you think about that?
I think it would make a better perspective in class towards my teacher, to see that I've got some help with my anger.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be able to understand what I'm doing.
I think so too. I think that it might help you in all three situations. I think it might help you at home, a little bit. I think it will help you in the classroom with your teacher and with your friends and your study partners. And I think it's also going to help you when you're playing with your friends at recess. So what we'll do, I think we kind of talked through a little bit about what this anger monster looks like, how it's kind of affected you negatively in the classroom and at home and outside. So I think next session what we'll talk about is how we can work to zap out and zap the anger monster and get you on a better path to where you're feeling a lot better in class, and maybe kind of give you some things to practice. How does that sound?
It sounds good.
All right. So I think what we'll do is we'll just plan a session for next week. Is next week okay for you? Okay. Well, why don't we do that? And I want to thank you for coming in. I appreciate it, and it's been great getting to know you. And I'm excited for our next few sessions. See if we can kind of zap this anger monster out for you so you kind of have a better experience at school. All right? Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mason. Good to know you, honey. Okay. See you next time.
Okay.